Hello, everyone. My name is Hongfu Chen. I am the campus support person on campus. You may know me. Today, we will talk about rubric basics and how to create them, how to manage them, how the student sees them. Um, I've created two assignments that can use rubric. We will get started with this one. There are two places that you can create rubric. The first is by clicking the plus rubric on the bottom of an assignment. The second is by going to outcomes and manage rubrics. And all of the course rubric will show up here, and you can also create rubric from right here. But we will start by just creating one from within the assignment. You click the plus rubric, and it will ask you for a title. Typing something descriptive. There are two general type of rubric, and it is differentiated by this checkbox right here. The first type are segmented, where there's a range of scores that you can click through. The second type is freeform, in that this criteria is worth 5 points. You will type in some justification for the points, and then you just type in a score. We will go with the segmented one for now. Each criteria consist of the description, the ratings, and the point values. The description is very straightforward, what you are looking for this particular criteria. And a longer description would be a longer explanation of what you're looking for. By default, it will create one segment for full mark for the criteria and one segment for 0 points. You can add more segments by clicking in between the segments, and we will create one at 40 called Great, 30 called Good, 20 called Average, and at 10 called Poor. By default, it will create one called full mark and no mark. I'm going to change it to be more descriptive, since now it's more of a range. We'll call it excellent, and no submission. Since this assignment is 100 points and we only have one criteria worth 50 points, to create more criteria, you click on the plus criterion button, and you can either start from scratch for each one, or if you use the same scale for most of them, you can just duplicate a current one, such as cuteness, and we will call this and it will copy over all the segments of ratings. You can edit each individual rating to add even more description. For example, if you ask for a specific word count in an essay, you can have, exceed expectation, fits expectation, below expectation, well below expectation. You can just add details of what you expect out of each segment. For segmented rubric, there's an option called range. If that is unchecked, the options are give exactly 50 points, give exactly 40 points, give exactly 30 points, etc. If you check this box, you can give a fluid amount between 50 and 41 for excellent, etc. We will check this on top, and then we'll leave the bottom one rigid, and I'll show you the difference. We talked about this earlier, and I will show you this for the second assignment. Remove points from rubric. just take out all the points. There is only segments. You can tell them they did a good job, how well of a job they did without having it tied to point values. Um, don't post outcome results to Learning Mastery Gradebook. Very few people on campus use Learning Mastery Gradebook. If you do, please follow up with me on if you have any questions. We will skip this talk here. Use this rubric for assignment grading. We'll tie what you select here and what you input as the score to the assignment score, and we will select it. We'll select it here. The last bit is hide score total for assessment results. It just hides the total point, and you cannot have that selected when you use it. Use the rubric for grading. So I will create. Oh, last thing. The point value, when you use the rubric for assignment grading, the point value of the rubric needs to add up to the total point value of the assignment. And if it doesn't, when you click create rubric, you will get the error message say, hey, this rubric only gives up to 60 points and your assignment is 100 points. Do you want to change your assignment to 60 points? And you can click this change to change the assignment to 60 points, but we will just make it around 100 for this case. Once the rubric is created, it shows up like this for the student. Student gets to see all the segments. Student gets to see all the details, longer descriptions as well. That just sets an expectation of grading. I know a lot of you for essay type assignments or report type assignments will have a Word document or a PDF describing your grading rubric. You can attach that in the description on top and reflect your grading scheme with rubric. That would just make things more visible and more visual to the students. So I've submitted the assignment for all the students. And to grade using rubric, you go to StreetGrader, like how you grade most other things. You review the student's submission, and then on the right side, you hit View Rubric. Sometimes the rubric is too wide, and you should be able to use this bar in between the submission and the right side to make that wider. The top part is we had the range checked, so we can reward between 50 points and 41 points for excellent. You can just type in a score in that range, and it will automatically select it. On the bottom, you can type in a in-between score, but none of them will be selected. So selecting the range option gives you more flexibility, but sometimes you don't need that flexibility, and you can click through the different ranges, and it will change the score on the right. And that's once you have the scores ready, you click on save. You can give them additional comments down here, and then you can move on to the next students and do the same thing. And so on and so forth. And I will show you how it shows up for students. So when students go to their grades, they will see their score. They will also see an icon on the right side. Once you click that icon, it will show you the rubric for that assignment and all the cells you end up selecting. Next, we'll talk about how to create a rubric from within outcomes. You go to outcomes and you go to manage rubrics. That's where all the course rubric reside. So even the one we just created, it has two criteria, 100 points possible, and we will create one for the other assignment, which is wiki article. And this time we will use when you create rubric from within course rubric, you don't have the additional option. Those additional options are tied to the assignment. So all you can set up are the criteria, the long descriptions, etc. And we will make this thorough completeness. Another one for grammars. 2 segments, and we'll make them 50 points each. And create rubric. And we will go to our second assignment, which is upload a wiki document, also 100 points. And it doesn't currently have a rubric. You can click on plus rubric, and it will create a dummy rubric. Within that box, you will find a find a rubric box that allows you to see any account level or account level rubric, or you should be able to find your course on the list to the far left. And this is this course rubric demo and the wiki article one we just created. And if this box is too small, you can use the bottom right window to drag it to be marginally bigger. Once you find the rubric you want to use with your assignment, click on use this rubric and it will bring it in here. And then you can then click the pencil button to edit the details on the bottom. And for this one, we want to look at freeform comments. It will get rid of all the segments in the rating area. You will just have to type it in. And we will also use this for grading. And student sees this the same way. They see what each criterion is and a longer description of the criterion, and they currently don't have any ratings yet. There's no ratings because it's a free-form rubric. So for free-form rubric, if you go to SpeedGrader and you review their assignments and you click View Rubric, instead of selecting different segments and entering score, you can just type in your comments for this submission. And there's an option to save this comment for reuse if it's a comment that you think will happen fairly often for the different submissions. Points. Grammar, well, the font's mismatched. 35. And we'll also save this for you reuse. And then you click save, and the scores are entered along with your comments. And then when you go to the next students and then you click view rubric, you will see the saved comments in a drop-down menu that you can select, so you don't have to type it out again, or you can just type some new. Well, this one's not very thorough. This one does not have font mismatch. And you can then save. And on the student side, it shows up. Similarly, if they go to grades, they will now have a button to the right where they can click and see the rubric and your comments for each criteria, as well as their score and how it all adds up. A couple more things to couple more things to talk about with rubric. Uh, Generally speaking, I recommend having the rubric made before the assignment is published out to the students, or at least well before the student starts submitting the assignment, because having the rubric prepared well ahead of time let the student know what the grading scheme is, and that might help them do a better job at fitting what you are looking for. Um, after you after you have started grading with a rubric, please refrain from editing the rubric or going into outcomes and manage rubrics to delete the rubric. If you delete the rubric, it's gone forever, and you can't recover what you clicked or whatever comment you inserted. So once you started grading, just leave the rubric alone for the most part. Get all your editing in before you start grading. Um, I would recommend having a new rubric for every new assignment, even if the rubric itself is exactly the same, because having one rubric being used for multiple assignments does not allow you to edit it, and it just, in general, limits flexibility. Um, the quickest way to duplicate a rubric is by copying the rubric into the same course. And that's done by going to settings, import course content, and we're gonna copy a Canvas course, but we're gonna copy from this course we're in. And don't select all content or it's gonna override things. Select specific content, and when it asks you for which content, you can select the rubric that's inside the course. And what this will do is make a duplicate of both of the rubric we have in the course. You can also select only one on the rear screen, and it will have a one at the end, and then you can edit the title and make small edits to the rubric. Rubrics can be copied between courses. You can use the copy. You can go to a different course, import course content, copy a Canvas course, and then copy over the rubrics only with the same workflow I just showed you. And when you copy over any assignments with rubric attached, it will also copy over the rubric to a new course. I think this should cover it as far as rubric basics goes. If you have any questions, please reach out to us. Thank you.